Mine goes back, first of all, thank you for having me. Mine goes back a little bit further. So I was born in Russia. I came to the US. You know, I couldn't speak English. Went outside one day when we moved to Edison, New Jersey. Bunch of kids throwing around a Nerf football. And literally I learned how to speak English by watching the New York Jets play football. So like, it's fun for me to be here. And like, it somewhere around 3rd or 4th grade, after falling in love with the sport, unlike everybody in this room, somewhere around 3rd or 4th grade, I realized that I was more likely to buy the Jets than to play for them. And so really by the time I was in, like if you go open up my 5th grade yearbook, everybody's like occupation. I don't know why in the 80s everybody wanted to be a fucking architect, but everyone's like architect, architect, architect. And mine just says owner of the New York Jets. So 17 and 18, like unlike a lot of people in this room as well, because you wouldn't have gotten here no matter how good you are, I was a straight D&F student, right? So education was the way out for us immigrants. So it was crazy that I was so bad at school. But by 5th grade, I was making $2,000-3,000 a weekend selling baseball cards. I knew I was an entrepreneur from the get before it was popular and cool like it is now. And so at 17, 18, I was like, I didn't give a fuck about girls. I didn't give a fuck about school. I didn't give a fuck about anything. I was like, I'm gonna go fucking work. I'm gonna put my head down for fucking 5 decades. I'm gonna buy the Jets and win 7 Super Bowls and call it a fucking day.
None of that life plan, right?
But you know, like, you know what's fun to talk to athletes? Like, I feel like you guys, it might be different, but it's the same. Like, I just didn't care about anything. It was like this narrow. Like, you know, and-
Well, it's interesting you say that, because how many of us think we're gonna play forever? Right, like the hardest part, at least for me as an athlete, in case I wanna get your point on it, is you're so focused to be great, to even get a seat in this room, that you have to be that dialed in on your craft.
Yeah, basically,
sometimes you can miss.
Tunnel vision. You gotta have a certain amount of tunnel vision, you know what I'm saying? Like we all do. When I was in high school, I wrote down I wanted to go to NFL. Literally, in a class, wrote it down, kept it in my back pocket, in my wallet, all these different places. That was my tunnel vision. That's all I focused on, you know what I'm saying? And that was the mindset, you know what I mean? But to his point earlier, it's like, it's not about just writing that down and just kind of waiting for it to happen. Like, you know what I mean? There was a lot of hard work to go get it, you know what I mean? But it kind of set me up every day. Like I had a mindset, I had a focus. Like he said, I wouldn't focus on other things other than what I wrote down on that piece of paper, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's the key to remember. It's like, you gotta have a certain amount of tunnel vision, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you wanna understand the big picture at the end of the day too. The big picture at the end of the day in our sport is we can't play forever, you know what I'm saying? And Thomas talked about it a week ago about, you know, we all have an expiration date when it comes to playing football, you know what I'm saying? But while we're in it, you know what I'm saying, we're locked in, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only difference between being an athlete and kind of different occupations, is that literally you cannot play this forever, but while you're in it, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta grind like there is no tomorrow.
The other thing you guys have is, it's the religion of our society. Like when you're in it, you have unlimited leverage, unlimited. And when you're out of it, it goes away. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable. Like I have no time, I can't meet anybody, but like I'll give you a quick little story. Dexter McDougal, 3rd round pick of the Jets from Maryland, he like hit me up, DM me on Instagram or Twitter or something. and I said to him, I was like, look, you better take this meeting soon, because when you get cut, because he wasn't playing well, I'm not taking this meeting. So like what's amazing about football, and sports in general, but football more than anything in America, like it's not only, it's crazy. When I got older, I was like, wait a minute, it's better to be a businessman than an athlete, because I started meeting like 30-year-olds who were done, right? Like, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. Your whole life, you've just been like this, and then you're so young, and you've got to reset and think about it different. What's crazy, and you can probably speak to this better than I can, it's crazy how smart this generation of athlete is. They think about entrepreneurship, they think about the platform, they think about building their brand, they think about investing. It's crazy what's happening. I mean, you two have a better perspective than I am. I've reverse engineered it backwards, but the advantage, back to these 3 letters, as you were framing it, like the leverage of this brand is bonkers.
Yeah, well, look, think about it. You know, when I was in college, the best advice I got from our 5th-year senior quarterback was get 3 business cards every day after practice. Right? You guys have alums that want to get to know you. They're doing amazing things in the universe. But those 3 business cards now are as many as you want, because it's the internet. You guys don't know this about Gary, but he was one of the first investors in all the things that are on your phone. We're talking Twitter, we're talking Snapchat, Tumblr, and on and on and on. His list of businesses are insane that he saw early. So the goal for today, when you walk out of here, is you think about, okay, how can I cultivate opportunities while I'm a student athlete with those 3 letters? When I walk out of here, unlike, unfortunately for KC, he scores a great touchdown in the Rose Bowl to win the national championship against Michigan. Twitter, Instagram don't exist. His platform is way different than what it could have been if he's, whereas Deontay last year scoring a touchdown in the Rose Bowl, right? You've noticed, obviously, your platform has altered. And that is a beautiful opportunity for you guys. So I'd be curious if you could give them some thoughts on.
It's real simple. The same way you're slipping into the DM to get something up to accomplish, you need to be doing for business. It's the same thing, right? It's you're just reverse engineering what you want. You just have unlimited tools, unlimited. And so like everybody here is going through their streams, creeping on what they want to do that same practice for business, because you're right. Like it's crazy what I'll do for the Jet. If Tannen Purder fucking DM me right now, the long snapper of the New York Jets, I'd meet him tomorrow. If the CEO of a $500 million company emailed me tomorrow, it'd take 4 months for me to meet with him. That's what you have. And that's crazy. And you can map that.
No, I was going to talk, Yogi, if you're going to go here, you can tell me to be it. But what can you tell us in this room as athletes, current athletes, about our social capital and being able to leverage that? Like you're saying, what really is giving us a metaphor for it, so that tomorrow when we walk outside on this campus, we're doing that because we have a year and we have 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, first of all, the NCAA shit is so fucking bullshit, but you gotta navigate through that, right? Like, so you've gotta be careful and like, that, you know, coming from communist Russia, like, fucking NCAA is scarier than that, you know? Like, so, you know, but the reality is, that's your reality, right? Like, you know that that's the reality. But to your point, there's nothing against collecting business cards. Like, it's only about relationships. You need to dap it up with as many people as possible. Life is only about the people. I made tens of millions of dollars because I became friendly. I thought Twitter was gonna be important, and I made those relationships with those founders, and that's what opened up everything. Everybody you talk to ever, that's made it, that really made it, it's just relationships. You miss some, right? You go find my first book somewhere, crush it. I thank my entire family and one random person, Travis Kalanick, founder of Uber, my boy, and I passed on Uber twice. If I put in my normal 50,000 that I put into companies, I would have made $400 million. I fucked up, right? I missed it. But having the relationship, playing checkers with him at some conference was the reason I even had that at bat. I fucked up, but I got the at bat. You right now in Los Angeles with these 3 letters, and for a lot of you, you don't go to the league and get another one of those at bats. This is one of the closest things to having that kind of leverage. This is religion for a lot of people that run shit. And so my advice is real simple. That was see advice by the 5th year quarterback. I would meet every single person, siphon and learn. They wanna see you because they wanna take a selfie and show their 14-year-old son they know you. You wanna see them because you wanna win life.
I think you gotta have a balance to it too, though, because let's all be honest in here. Like, you have to be able to balance the two, because you guys want to do one thing, which is NFL, right? Most guys' goal in here is to want to go to the NFL. But like we talked about, the other side of it is the business side, the relationship side, the networking side. All right. So how do you balance the two? Well, you only can work out so many hours in a day, right? So it's like, what are you doing on those other times? Are you chilling at the house? Are you just on your phone looking at stuff? Or are you out meeting people, shaking hands? Or you want to see what everybody else is doing in the world? You know what I'm saying? And I'm victim of it too, because I watch a lot of his stuff, and especially in the morning, and some of y'all know I send y'all stuff in the morning time. I like to have something that's going to get me going through the day, that's going to motivate me, and that's going to set me on that right path. But at some point, I got to put it down, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just be a slave to this phone all day. Like, I got to actually go out and shake somebody's hand, go out and talk to Yogi, maybe you can introduce me to somebody, or go out and have lunch with this person. So the other thing is balancing the two, because like I said, we work out 6 o'clock, 6 to 8, maybe 6 to 10. You got class, maybe you come back and throw, maybe you got study hall. So you got a bunch of 24 hours in a day, just like everybody else. Y'all's might be occupied a lot different than his, but at the end of the day, there is a window of opportunity, like Baxter always talks about, right? You got a window of opportunity at some point in there to go do something other than watch SportsCenter or TV. Maybe it's having that dinner. Maybe it's say, hey, I'm free at 8 p.m. tonight. Can we get together for dinner? You know what I'm saying? So I think you guys live in a generation now where it's a challenge almost to kind of balance the two. Like Yogi was saying, I didn't have that problem when I was in college because we didn't have cell phones and Twitter and all this
not a problem.
distraction.
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's straight opportunity. You wish you had it.
Right.
You have it so good. Listen, your balance needs to map your ambition. You don't have to do anything we're talking about here. You don't. The thing that I'm most fascinated about is people run their mouth and then they don't back it up with their actions. You know, your balance needs to be predicated on your hunger.
I think it's a good point. You guys are all such hustlers, right? I mean, you think about the way you work with Ivan downstairs and the strength staff, the way you study, the way you prepare. You're a self-proclaimed hustler. You love that word in your world because you do, right? So I think it's the idea of, I have all these tools as a student athlete, as a football player, because we see them play out every Saturday. We see them play out every day in practice. How do they play out in the other side of your hustle? How do they play out on what you're interested in? I mean, Sam, we just talked earlier about you love Christopher Nolan, director. There's an element of that of, okay, cool, you can build your story that we all have around elements that you're interested in. And I'm curious, Gary, of your thoughts on how these guys can shape their interests into their daily reality, which is the voice that they have on this simple phone.
I mean, if Sam texts or DMs anybody, they're replying. Like, it's just opportunity. I don't know, like, for me, it's real simple. Like, I think about things in a macro. There's 7.7 billion people. When I look at these men's faces right now, I'm like, they're fucking way up there in the ranking. I wish there was a world ranking of every person. And I wish you could see where you sit right this second. It would blow your fucking face off. It would. It would blow your fucking face off on how good your life actually is. It would be humbling. You'd get real hungry. You'd realize how real lucky you are. And so, you know, I don't know, like, I just can't imagine Sam not having any single person reply, whoever, like, just, that's just unbelievable. Like, that's special. Now, everybody's got their own personalities. I don't know Sam, I don't know anybody here. Like, you might be introverted, you might be quiet, you might be focused on this, you might be having family issues, you don't have that energy for that. There's a million things going on in everybody's dome right now, but it doesn't take away the fact that this is actually what's happening to your life right now. And you can speak to this, you both can speak to this. That window closes real quick. That's it. That's just the truth.
You guys both dive into the idea of self-awareness a lot, right? We know how we feel when we wake up. You guys check in with your strength trainer. Okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what my body's saying. I think the same thing can be said for your social and how you craft the message that you want to be shared. Because it gets picked up by guys like me when I'm going to call your game. It gets picked up by people like him. Obviously, it gets checked by your coaches. Curious when you've seen messages kind of bounce all over the place, or ones that have stayed consistent, because it's not as though you become a rock star overnight, right? Sometimes people think that happened. People think that happened with his career. Clearly not the truth when you busted your ass for so long. Same thing with KC. All of a sudden you make a catch in the Rose Bowl and the whole country knows you, but you've been doing it for 4 years when you're on campus. Curious your guys' point of view on shaping their story on their respective social media platforms versus doing what people want them to do on their social media platforms.
I mean, I think the key is to
You're trying to think about being a coach right now.
I know, right?
I always think it goes back to being the truest form of you. The first thought you have is your truest thought.
It should, listen, everybody sees everything. Like, everything that's going on is happening, right? Like, as you know, probably both of you know, like 2 years ago I bought a sports agency and we recruited a class last year, so I've gotten into this game that you guys now know. So the first year I was like, started recruiting, right? Like, just looking people's names up. Like, it's crazy what kids do. Like leaving comments the way they treat girls on Instagram, like stuff like everybody sees everything. Like, people are acting like it's not real. Like, and you can also tell when somebody, like, everybody knows everybody's social is like the PR'd version of themselves. Right? Like, we even have people now pretend they're taking private flights, right? Like, there's all sorts of shit going on. So there's cynicism on, is it real, is it not, what's it up to? What I would say is a couple things. It's not about overthinking, like, I'm a media company, how do I do this right? I think once you start overthinking shit, it's probably like the way you think about sports, right? Like, when you start overthinking, you get slow, and then you're in trouble. Right? So overthinking is disastrous too in the way you build your image and stuff like that. You just need to, basically what worked for me was 10 years ago I saw Twitter, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be the next thing. And it started the kind of transformation to the mobile device and social media. And I remember thinking 10 years ago, I'm like, fuck, everything I do is on the record. Like there's no hiding anymore, right? Forget about you posting shit. What about when you're out? Everybody's got to fucking, this is 24/7. So I think the best thing is to just let it go, be you, but also at the same time, know all eyes are on it.